You're sitting by the fireplace, sipping your tea, and suddenly, a man walks in. He knows what you had for breakfast, who you spoke to last night, and why you're secretly regretting that second slice of cake. Sounds creepy, right? Well, what if I told you he could do all that simply by looking at your shoelaces? Stick around, because today I'm taking you on a journey into the mind of one of the most eccentric, brilliant, and borderline annoying geniuses in literary history. A man who solves crimes not because he cares about justice, but because, well, boredom is dangerous when your brain runs on overdrive. And trust me, this story, or should I say stories, might surprise you in more ways than one. When I picked up this book, I thought I was getting myself into a big, fat Victorian novel, the kind you curl up with on a rainy day and emerge from only after 3 weeks. I mean, the name is so familiar, so many movies, so many adaptations. Naturally, I thought, ah yes, a classic novel. But the joke was on me. Turns out this isn't a novel. It's a collection of short stories. 12 of them. 12 little puzzles, each one like an appetizer for the mind. So, let me paint the scene for you. London, late 19th century. Foggy streets, horse-drawn carriages, suspicious men in top hats lurking in dark alleys, and at the center of it all, a man in a long coat, sharp eyes, and a mind like a steel trap, Sherlock Holmes. He's not alone, of course. He has a friend, Dr. John Watson, the man with the pen, the loyal chronicler, the guy who tries to keep up with this whirlwind of a detective and, bless his heart, fails every single time. Watson is the narrator here, so everything we know about Holmes comes filtered through those admiring, occasionally exasperated eyes. And right from the start, we get a sense of Holmes's eccentric brilliance. This man could walk into your house, glance at the muddy footprints on your carpet, and tell you where you've been, what train you took, and what you had for lunch. Probably with a side note on your personality flaws. You know that friend who notices everything? Yeah, multiply that by 10 and sprinkle in some sarcasm and violin music, and you've got Holmes. Now, what makes these stories so fascinating is that Holmes doesn't care much about the morality of it all. He's not out here to save the day because he's some noble crusader for justice. Nope. He solves mysteries for fun, the way some people do Sudoku or binge Netflix. The thrill, the challenge, that's his drug.
The exhilaration.
And oh, does he deliver? Each story brings a new case, some bizarre, some shocking, some so simple you'll smack your forehead and say, how did I miss that?
Wow!
Let me give you an example of what Watson says about him because it sums up the man perfectly.
The stage lost a fine actor even as science lost an acute reasoner when he became a specialist in crime.
Isn't that just brilliant? Imagine being so talented that two entire professions, acting and science, feel cheated because you chose crime solving instead. Now, these stories don't just showcase Holmes's brainpower. They show his personality too. He's theatrical, dramatic. If TikTok existed in the 1800s, Holmes would be the guy making 60-second deduction videos that blow everyone's mind. And Watson? He's the perfect foil. Where Holmes is sharp and cold, Watson brings warmth and humanity. He's like the comforting cup of tea after Holmes hits you with a mind-bending revelation.
Damn.
The beauty of these stories is how they build tension. Even though you know Holmes is going to solve the case, I mean, come on, it's his name on the cover. You still find yourself asking, how on earth is he going to pull this off? It's like watching a magic trick. You know it's a trick, but you can't help gasping when the rabbit pops out of the hat. And now, here's the part that shocked me. This isn't just one story. It's 12. 12 little gems bound together in a book called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, first published in 1892, and still as fresh and fascinating as ever. So what did I think about this book? Honestly, I loved it, and let me tell you why. First, the format surprised me. Like I said earlier, I thought I was signing up for a long novel, but instead I got a series of short stories that are perfect for reading in between heavier books. It's light, fun, and highly addictive. Second, the character of Holmes. He's not just smart, he's almost alien in the way he thinks. He doesn't follow the usual emotional path most of us do. He's all logic, all precision. And yet Doyle makes him human, through his quirks, his sarcasm, his occasional flashes of warmth. And then there's Watson, the heart to Holmes's head. Without Watson, Holmes would just be a cold machine. With Watson, we get perspective, humor, and just the right amount of admiration. One thing I found fascinating is how these stories still hold up after more than a century. Think about it. These were written in the 1890s, but the structure, the suspense, the payoff, it all feels so modern. If anything, they remind me why Doyle is considered the father of detective fiction. Without Holmes, would we even have Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, or dare I say, modern-day crime dramas? Probably not. Now, in terms of themes, I'd say this book explores the limits of human observation and reasoning. It celebrates intellect, curiosity, and the idea that the smallest details often hold the biggest answers. And it does all this without being pretentious. Doyle doesn't just hand you the solution. He lets you wrestle with it, guess, and then marvel when Holmes reveals how ridiculously obvious it all was. As for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, what a fascinating man. Born in 1859 in Scotland, Doyle wasn't just a writer. He was a doctor, which explains his precision and his interest in science and observation. In fact, the character of Holmes was partly inspired by one of his professors, Dr. Joseph Bell, who was famous for his keen powers of deduction. Doyle wrote 4 novels and 56 short stories about Holmes, and through them, he gave us a character who has outlived him by more than a century. There are movies, TV shows, fan fiction, you name it. Holmes has become more than a character. He's a cultural icon. So, should you read this book? Absolutely. Whether you're a fan of mysteries or just someone looking for something engaging yet easy to read, this collection is a classic for a reason. And honestly, it's the perfect palate cleanser between heavier reads. When your brain feels fried from tackling complex novels, just pick a story from here. Holmes will reset your neurons and maybe even make you paranoid about the muddy footprints on your carpet.
OMG!
What about you? Have you read this book or any Holmes stories? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your fellow book lovers. Until next time, keep your observations sharp and your shoelaces clean. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.